In this video, I'ma tell you about the behind the scenes info I found out. Grab a snack and a drink and pull up a chair, and I'll tell you all the tea behind the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. American television sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air aired for 6 seasons on NBC from 1990 to 1996. It was produced by NBC Productions in association with the Stuffed Dog Company and Quincy Jones Entertainment, later Quincy Jones-David Salzman Entertainment. The series starred a teenage boy from West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, born and raised. He'd spent most of his days on the playground, chillin' out, maxin, relaxin, all cool, and shooting some b-ball outside of the school. One day, he got in a fight when a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in his neighborhood. His mom got scared and decided it was time for her son to get out of that environment. So she sent him across the country to live with her sister and her sister's husband, plus their 3 children, in the wealthy Los Angeles neighborhood of Bel-Air, California. His name was Will Smith, and that goes for the character and the actor. Will's working class background ends up clashing big time with the upper class world of his West Coast relatives, the Banks family. Philip, Uncle Phil to Will, played by James Avery, was an Ivy League educated lawyer who grew up living a much simpler life in Yamacraw, North Carolina. James was a seasoned actor who earned his BA in drama and literature from UC San Diego and was offered the role without needing to audition. His wife, Vivian, who Will called Aunt Viv, first played by Janet Hubert, was also highly educated and a professor of English literature. When Janet walked into her audition, it was apparent right away that she embodied everything they were looking for. Fun fact, that amazing and memorable dance performance she gives in Season 2, Episode 7, titled The Big 4-0, almost didn't happen. In the first season, Janet approached writer Susan Borowitz about Vivian tapping into her passion for dance, but Susan wasn't interested. She wanted to keep Vivian a strict academic. When she left later that season, Janet got her wish. Eldest child Hillary, played by Karen Parsons, was extremely spoiled and airheaded. Even though she ended up dropping out of college, she went on to create a successful career for herself as a talk show host. Karen was an aspiring actor and still juggling a couple of regular 9-to-5s when she auditioned for the show. As she channeled some of the girls she grew up with in Malibu, she won over the room immediately. Middle child Carlton, played by Alfonso Ribeiro, was a preppy teen, obsessed with Tom Jones, and got excellent results in school, but not with the ladies. Alfonso already had a recurring role on another NBC sitcom, Silver Spoons, under his belt when he tried out for the role of Carlton. When he first read the script, he felt a connection to the character right away. Fun fact, Alfonso revealed that 2 celebrities were the inspiration behind his signature Carlton dance, Courtney Cox and Eddie Murphy. He admitted to BuzzFeed that Courtney's basically doing the dance in Bruce Springsteen's Dancin' in the Dark music video. Eddie Murphy's White Man dance from his Delirious comedy video also served as a model. Youngest child, for a time, Ashley, played by Tatiana Ali, was a sweet child that adored Will, but was often rebelling against her parents for being overprotective. Tatiana was just 11 when she came in to audition for the role. While her mother and aunts were excited for her getting the opportunity to audition in front of the Quincy Jones, Tatiana wasn't. She'd been asked to write a rap and perform it in front of a bunch of strangers. Even though she didn't know how to rap or write one, she did her best and got the job.
Hey there, Lord, my name is Ashley Banks. My family and friends want to give you some thanks. So before this dinner's all swallowed and chewed, thank you, God, for this stupid food.
Nikki, Phil and Vivian's 4th child, is introduced in Season 3. By Season 5, his age had advanced to 5 years old. He was then played by 7-year-old Ross Elliott Bagley. And although not related by blood or marriage to anyone, their prim and proper British butler Geoffrey, who Will called G, played by Joseph Marcel, was always in the mix and very much seen as part of the family. Casting director Allison Jones butted heads with the network and had to put her foot down when executives wanted to cast a non-British actor to play the butler. She wasn't in the business of hiring someone who had to fake an accent, and because of his extensive acting background, she already had Joseph in mind. Quincy Jones also stepped in to change a specific detail about the character. Originally, the script was written for the butler to be white. Quincy changed that because he didn't think someone like Uncle Phil would have a white butler. Fun fact, Joseph also has his friend Sir Patrick Stewart to thank for putting him up for the role. Patrick had been talking to a TV exec when he learned they were looking to cast a butler for an upcoming NBC sitcom, and was asked if he knew anyone who would be good for it. Fresh Prince included crazy 90s fashion trends, a signature dance, and arguably the best opening TV theme song ever. Yo Home to Bel-Air transcended its roots as a sitcom opener to become embedded in the cultural consciousness both in the US and abroad. It was also put together in no time. Will and his DJ, Jazzy Jeff, wrote it in 15 minutes. The music was composed by Quincy Jones, who is credited with Will at the end of each episode.
Looked at my kingdom, I was finally there to sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel-Air.
Fun fact, die-hard fans know that there's a longer version of the show's opening. In it, Will spins in his throne a little bit longer, his mother packs his suitcase, and he enjoys first-class treatment on an airplane. In the beginning, Will, the real-life one, was already well known as one half of the hip-hop duo DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. He'd exploded on the music scene with the hit single, Parents Just Don't Understand, off their 1988 album, He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper. The song won a Grammy for Best Rap Performance, and the album went triple platinum. Fun fact, the music video for the song would later serve as the blueprint for the opening title sequence of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will may have come from humble beginnings, but he wasn't living a humble life now. Big Willie was paid, and he used his newfound wealth to buy a lot of cool stuff. Motorcycles, cars. He even called a Gucci store in Atlanta one day and asked them to shut it down so he and his friends could go shopping. All the while, though, he wasn't paying his taxes. He would later claim that it wasn't deliberate. But that detail aside, the issue wouldn't go away quietly. In fact, it would nearly ruin him. Uncle Sam took everything. Now broke, lost, and spending all his time moping around, Will's then girlfriend couldn't take it anymore one day and told him to snap out of it and do something. He didn't know what to do, so she suggested that he go to a taping of the Arsenio Hall show. To do what? He didn't know. But hey, at least it got him out of the house. It was at that taping that fate would present Will with the opportunity to turn his life around when he met record executive and talent manager Benny Medina. As the two got to talking, Benny would reveal to Will that he was in the process of developing a television series loosely based on his own life, alongside legendary music producer Quincy Jones. Benny had grown up poor in East LA, but his life did a 180 when he befriended a rich white teenager whose family lived in Beverly Hills and allowed Benny to live with them. Benny asked Will if he'd be interested in the lead role. Well, since he'd never acted before, not really. But then again, the paycheck could help him get out of debt. NBC executives were interested in Benny's idea and even liked the idea of Will being a part of it. They weren't interested enough, though, to offer a pilot. Instead, they ordered a 19-minute presentation, which is a shorter, low-budget version of a pilot. Now, who were they going to get to write it? Enter Andy and Susan Borowitz. The then-married TV writers sat down with NBC television executive Brandon Tartikoff to listen to his pitch about the show. The duo walked out from the meeting still a little fuzzy, though, about the concept. That is, until they went to Quincy Jones's birthday party at his home. There, they all chatted up a storm and came up with some great ideas for the characters. Will's cousins would be based on Quincy's daughters. Andy decided to name Carlton after a friend of his. Quincy even made Will audition for the lead role right then and there in front of all the guests. Will ended up nailing it, and Quincy had his legal team write up a contract on the spot. The goal was to show Black wealth on a level never seen before on TV. The Huxtables lived comfortably as upper-middle-class characters, but that lifestyle was going to pale in comparison to that of the Banks family. They were going to take up residence in one of the most desirable zip codes in the country, send their children to private school, and live in a mansion complete with a tennis court, swimming pool, hot tub, multiple luxury cars, and a butler. And just like that, Andy and Susan Borowitz would become credited as the creators of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They also served as executive producers. While writers get roughly 10 days to 2 weeks to create a pilot, the Borowitzes were given 5 days. They wrote, cast, and shot the thing at lightning speed and on a tight budget. Fun fact, Will was so intent on giving his best performance that he would stay late to watch tapes of the show, studying the replays. He even memorized entire scripts so he knew everyone's lines, including his own. This eventually posed a problem when it was time to film, as he would mouth the other actors' lines. Even though his cast members and those behind the camera told him to quit it, if you look closely at earlier episodes, you can still spot some of those moments.
Oh, sure I do. I've been held back in the 10th grade 3 times in a row.
3 times?
Yeah, see, my motto is, when I find a grade I like, I stick with it.
In Thea Glassman's 2023 book, Freaks, Gleeks, and Dawson's Creek, How 17 Shows Transform Television, Andy admits that he had no clue about the world of hip-hop, and he didn't want to make a pilot where kids who actually loved rap would write the show off for being too corny. He also acknowledges that the reason 2 white writers were tapped to script a show with a black cast was because of the times. Back then, hiring black writers either didn't occur to the network, or it was just something that they weren't interested in. The presentation tested at record-breaking levels, and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was bought for 12 episodes. The Borowitzes were told to go back and shoot 3 extra minutes so the whole thing could be used as the official pilot. Fun fact, the idea of the end of that first episode, where Will is playing Beethoven's Für Elise, came to Andy when he witnessed Will do the same thing that night at Quincy Jones' home. From 1990 to 1991, Fresh Prince ranked as the 12th most popular show on NBC. Not too bad, considering they had to contend with The Cosby Show, 60 Minutes, and Cheers, taking up the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place spots respectively. By the 2nd season, though, Fresh Prince had shot all the way to number 2, and would go on to be the catalyst to Will's future in the entertainment industry as a major motion picture superstar. By 1995, he'd done just that. In just a few short years, Will had gone from rap star to TV star to movie star, and now he was ready to leave his sitcom roots behind. At the end of that 5th season, Will flew out the entire cast, plus their significant others and director Shelley Jensen, first class to Hawaii. There, he told everyone that the 6th season would be the last. Fun fact, the writers got a lot of unique perks. At the end of each taping, they would get to take home the $500 floral arrangements that were brought in daily to decorate the Banks' home. Once the season was done, they could snag items from any of the characters' wardrobes, which were purchased at high-end LA boutiques. One person who probably didn't care about any of that was Jenji Cohen. She joined the writing staff in 1993 and characterized the place as a very difficult work environment and a toxic mess. The staff kept crazy hours, fought non-stop, and played cruel pranks. Her nickname? White Devil Jew Bitch. A nod to the LA riots that had taken place the previous year. Every story on Fresh Prince had to have Will's stamp of approval before things could move forward. He rarely rejected ideas, but he did on this one occasion, where a writer pitched an idea for a cameo with popular drag queen RuPaul. No matter how much the writer tried, Will wouldn't budge. He just kept saying that he didn't think it was a good idea. While Will refused to elaborate any further, the writer thinks that his apprehension about the scene lay in Will's desire to protect his image. In 2013, James Avery passed away from complications related to an open heart surgery. He was 68 years old. Now, here's some more fun facts about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. In the show, Will is a William, while in real life, he's a Willard. The mansion that they use for all the exterior shots is actually located in Brentwood, not Bel-Air, since the incoming president of NBC at the time wasn't a fan of his portrayal of his character. After seeing the pilot, Alfonso was almost fired and replaced. During the run of the show, Will asked out Karen, but she curved him. Firth, Wind & Meyer, the law firm Uncle Phil worked for, was a play on the band Earth, Wind & Fire, a favorite group of Quincy Jones's. Will even references them in the pilot when he meets the trio at the Banks' dinner party.
Will, these are my partners in the law firm of Firth, Wind & Meyer.
Hey, Earth, Wind & Fire, when's your next album coming out?
NBC actually canceled Fresh Prince after season 4, planning to have the last episode of that season, titled The Philadelphia Story, serve as a series finale. Fan reaction and letters to Will and NBC persuaded them to renew the show. The person spinning Will around in the opening credits is his best friend and bodyguard, Charlie Mack. As for Will's other best friend, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Will literally had to beg and bribe him to be on the show. Will was determined to get his crew out to LA after securing the deal, so he convinced the producers to let Jeff test for 6 episodes, for $10,000 apiece. Jeff wasn't down for that though, saying that all he really wanted to do was music, not acting. Through persistence, Will managed to change his mind. One of the series' running gags was Uncle Phil tossing out Jazz. While rumor has it that the same shots were used over and over again due to budget cuts, the real reason for that was because Jeffrey A. Towns, aka DJ Jazzy Jeff, put his foot down and refused to do it anymore due to the fact that he couldn't bear the pain it caused. Just before the recording of a show, Will, the cast, and crew would get together and do the Apache dance to Apache Jump On It by the Sugar Hill Gang, which he and Alfonso performed in Season 6, Episode 8, titled Viva Lost Wages. Season 6, Episode 19, titled I Whoops There It Is, also features footage of the dance. One idea that Will would never object to was when the writers gave him a love interest, as that always made him happy. So the writers did their best to put his character in as many relationships as they could.
Man, I'm not down with that blind date stuff. Every time they get here, they look like...
Will has the show to thank for hooking him up with his future wife, Jada. They met while she came in to audition for the role of Will's girlfriend, but was told she was too short. As mentioned before, during his early days of success as a rapper, Will didn't pay his taxes, and the IRS came calling, demanding nearly $3 million. In order to pay the sum, his financial advisors urged him to take the show NBC had offered. He also revealed that for the first 3 years of Fresh Prince, 70% of every check was taken to pay off the debt. Multiple schools in Pennsylvania County were placed on lockdown when a high school receptionist misheard a student's answering machine one day. She thought the student said, "shooting some people outside of the school," instead of shooting some b-ball outside of the school. The episode Will is most proud of just happens to be the show's most famous one. From the very beginning, Will was always determined to impress James. In Season 4, Episode 24, titled Papa's Got a Brand New Excuse, his emotional performance and James' reaction made him feel like he finally achieved that.
I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm gonna have me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
This last one is definitely more of a sad fact, rather than a fun one. The actress playing Will's mother, who appears in the intro in the shower cap while the voiceover says,
You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel-Air.
was never paid for that appearance. She did audition for a part, but was either cut out of the pilot, or they simply used her audition reel in the opening credits. She never got paid neither for the initial performance nor royalties, as all actors are due per union rules. She eventually became homeless for a while. Today, it's still unclear even what her name is or what became of her. Okay, let's get into it. What really happened to the first Aunt Viv? When fans sat down to watch the season premiere of the 4th season, they were shocked to see Aunt Viv looking very different from what they remembered.
You know, Miss Banks, since you had that baby, there's something different about you.
Janet Hubert was out, and Daphne Maxwell Reid was in. In the years following her departure, rumors abounded that the reason she was no longer on the show was because of a beef between her and Will. In the 3rd season, when Aunt Viv was pregnant, so was Janet in real life. She was also in an abusive relationship. To say she was not in a good place in her personal life would be an understatement. Unfortunately, she took her issues to work. Off-camera tensions were also running high when it came time for contract negotiations. Janet was offered a reduced deal for the 4th season, 10 weeks of work, and she couldn't take acting gigs anywhere else. Her agent told her to hold out for a better offer, but one never came. This, according to Janet, is the real reason why she left. While that may be so, over the years, she's taken every opportunity to blast Will publicly, as well as Alfonso at times, starting the minute she left the show after being triggered over an interview Will did with the Atlanta Journal. I can say straight up that Janet Hubert wanted the show to be the Aunt Viv of Bel-Air show, because I know she is going to dog me in the press. She had basically gone from $250,000 a year to nothing. She's mad now, but she's been mad all along. She said once, "I've been in the business for 10 years, and this snotty-nosed punk comes along and gets a show. No matter what, to her, I'm just the Antichrist." Janet then let it rip, saying that she felt Will played a role in her being kicked to the curb, told lies about her, and was actively trying to ruin her career. In a 2009 stand-up comedy set, Alfonso said everyone he worked with was great, except Janet. You know, legally, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but hey, why not? Long story short, and there were days when we were all on the set and she would literally go off on people, and they got to a point by the time the 2nd season came around where we're like, this is unacceptable. We felt like when we were doing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that we were a family. She at that point ruined that, and she made it very difficult for us to work, and unfortunately, she was then fired. They brought in Daphne Maxwell-Reid, who we absolutely loved, and we moved on. Oh well. Janet has even lashed out whenever there's been a cast reunion, while also at times sounding open to the idea. After Will posted a photo on Facebook of a recent charity event everyone attended in 2011, minus her, she said, "There will never be a reunion, as I will never do anything with an asshole like Will Smith. He is still an egomaniac and has not grown up. This constant reunion thing will never ever happen in my lifetime unless there is an apology, which he doesn't know the word." Again, in 2017, Alfonso inadvertently enraged Janet by posting a photo of the cast on his Instagram, again minus her. Her response was same old, same old. "There will never be a true reunion of the Fresh Prince. I have no interest in seeing any of these people on that kind of level." Eventually, she would eat those words. In November 2020, Janet and Will sat down face to face to hash things out. Their meeting was included in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion on HBO Max. Janet reiterated that she was not fired. She felt she was essentially pushed out since the powers that be weren't willing to negotiate a better contract, and was deeply hurt by that decision. That hurt was also compounded, she said, by her family and Hollywood disowning her over the rumors of being unprofessional on set. In the end, they apologized to one another and buried the hatchet, with Will even admitting in his 2021 memoir that had he known then what he knows now about Janet's personal struggles, he would have handled things differently. In 2019, a mock trailer titled Bel-Air was uploaded on YouTube, written and directed by Morgan Cooper, for a darker, more dramatic take on the sitcom. Will saw it, loved it, and subsequently expressed interest in expanding the idea into a full reboot series. Everything fell into place the following year. In September, Peacock gave the show a 2-season order, and the series premiered in February 2022. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was released to syndication in 1994, and by 2011, Warner Home Video had released all 6 seasons on DVD in North America. Currently, reruns of the show are still aired around the world on various networks, and is also available to stream on several services, including Max, Hulu, and Paramount+.